Hi everyone, Chef Nikki here. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. Woohoo! Yeah, I do appreciate it. And if you're here, you probably have interest in sourdough. I love sourdough. Well, I have simplified the process for making sourdough starter. And I think I've saved future generations a lot of headaches. There's no discard in my recipe, which means that when you're feeding your starter every day, you're not throwing some away, because you keep throwing it away every day, and that adds up. Believe me, it's a lot. And if you don't want to throw it away, you don't have to worry about, what am I going to do with this starter every day? That's not even starter yet. It's not even active starter sometimes, but you don't want to throw it away. I have a solution. So, with that being said, I want you to understand something. I'm going to walk you through this process, but you have to understand something about this video before we move forward. I work as a personal chef and I work as a food stylist. And when I work in the professional world, I'm working with all pros. And I've worked on both sides of the camera. I've worked behind the camera and I've worked in front of the camera. I used to host a TV show called The Racing Chef. And I do understand production, and I do understand the value of good production. To have wonderful lighting and audio, and you need a team of professionals. Well, guess what? You're not getting it here. All you're getting is me. And I'm getting a little bit better with lighting, but I'm horrible at audio. So you're going to have to deal with my audio. If you have some suggestions, that's fine. I tried this little lapel thing. It just didn't work for me. I don't want to say it was junk, because maybe it wasn't junk. Maybe I just didn't know how to use it. The lighting's not right. The audio's not right. My buddy John's probably going out of his mind right now because I got this little green dot on my audio thing. If I'm styling food for a commercial, I'll be in meetings with people and we'll get a whole packet of information from the client, and it'll detail everything out for us. And one of the things that it'll detail out, for an example, is a mood board. Okay, maybe I look in this mood board and I see a little kid with his dad and they're holding hands walking, and the kid's holding a hot dog, and maybe the dad's got a soda or something, okay, it's a family deal. Then maybe they're at a baseball game. They show me a baseball game and the kid's eating. I'm like, okay, I got a steamed bun. I've got a steamed hot dog, mustard on it maybe, ketchup maybe, probably not relish and onions. I don't know. You can't get too much at a baseball game, but I got it. So I have the mood and I have the feeling. Now I know some questions to ask about that hot dog when I get to the meeting. There's no mood board for this. This is YouTube, and YouTube, whoosh, you're going to get what you get from me. I'm sorry. My mood, I'm relaxed. I might put my feet up for a little bit. That's how relaxed I am when I'm going to do this. But I have to tell you, I've been crazy stressed for a long time. I've wanted to make this video for YouTube. And, I have a YouTube channel. And a lot of times when I put YouTube videos up, they're not, I don't consider them YouTube videos, and I don't know why I put them there. I put a bunch of stuff from The Racing Chef up there, and then I don't even know what else I have up there. When I put stuff that I would put on TikTok or Instagram or something, when I create a video for that, I just throw it on my YouTube. And it's not a real YouTube video as far as I'm concerned, because in a YouTube video, I go to YouTube for a couple things. I don't want to be like, okay, I got 15 seconds to understand all this and go crazy. No, this is relax, but learn everything and learn in detail what's going to happen. So this sourdough starter that I'm going to teach you how to make, I'm going to teach you in detail how to make it. So when you're done, you're going to understand exactly what's going on. So with all that being said, let's relax and have some fun, okay? All right. Wait a minute. Now, I'm sorry, we can't move forward yet because this is a YouTube video and we're gonna do this video in a YouTube way. And we should have an introduction, don't you think so? We didn't have an introduction at the beginning of the video, so let's have an introduction. Okay, all right, we're gonna put together an introduction, and then we'll see how it comes out. Let me know what you think. Okay, you ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. If you are a sourdough lover, you love sourdough bread, pizza, pancakes, bagels, you love it all. And you would make it all if someone would just teach you an easy way to make sourdough starter with no discard. You don't want to throw it away every day. You don't want to make something every day. You are in the right place. Was that good? Did that work? Okay. Woo! Now we have the introduction to the video. Let's move forward. So, I've come up with a plan how to teach you how to make this starter. You ready? This is what happened. A while ago, this is spaghetti, by the way. It's YouTube. You got to see what I'm eating for dinner, right? I'm making some broken up spaghetti with some cauliflower and peas and some leeks I picked from outside. I'm going to cook them all in a tomato broth. Have you seen you break up your spaghetti like this? That's all. And now they're ready to go. And I'm going to make them in a little soup, and they're great. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. Anyway, what I thought I would do with this video is start with something I already have. And what I have is this video that I put on TikTok a while ago, and it did really well. I showed how to make this starter in 4 minutes, but it's like that. And I'm going to show it to you here in a second, and or maybe a minute, the way things are going. But the video, what happens is I've had a really good response. I had over 100,000 people watch it, and thousands of people made it their favorite, and I had hundreds of comments. And what I thought I would do is show you the video and then dissect it and tell you about each section of that and the questions that I got from people, because some people did have some issues, and what I learned and what will help you when you make your sourdough starter so it comes out perfect. Because, you know, to talk about every little detail in a TikTok video, it's almost impossible because you don't have enough time. But what's really nice is after having all those comments and all those thoughts and everything, I mean, I know that people really want to learn this. So taking all that knowledge and being able to make this video from all the questions and everything, man, that's going to be great. So that's what we're going to do. The next thing you're going to see out of me is that video, and then we'll dissect it. All right, I'm going to have some dinner. Otherwise, I'm going to be brain dead. I haven't eaten enough today. I know the video's coming, but I know you were wondering, oh, what is it he's making? So I made this spicy tomato broth, and I put some basil and oregano and some bay leaf in there, ground bay leaf, and then I put a little bit of ghost pepper powder in there because I like it real spicy. And then on the top, I put some locatelli cheese and black pepper, and you didn't see I put a little bit of truffle oil just drizzled on the top. Oh, I love truffle oil. Okay, back to the video. Let's go. This message is for King Arthur Baking Company, Food Network, and every sourdough bread baker in the world. I'd love your thoughts on joining me on posting a recall notice. It's for the word discard. I think it should be removed from every sourdough recipe. Every time I talk to someone new about sourdough bread and they love it as much as I do, we talk about the crust and the smell and the flavor. Oh, it's amazing. But then I ask them, hey, have you ever made it? Well, they say, you know, it's just too hard. because you have to feed it every day and then you have to throw some of it out every day, and what a waste. This is not true. So we need to talk about sourdough management, because sourdough starter is as easy as 2 ingredients, flour and water. And sourdough bread is as easy as 4, flour, water, salt, and starter. And I say starter because everyone makes their starter different. Here's my simplified method for managing sourdough. It can be multiplied or divided to meet any need. Some people use 2 or 3 flours in their starter. I say choose one. You can choose whatever one you want. I choose King Arthur bread flour. Why? Because when you start to utilize your starter, you may not want whole wheat flour flavor or some strong flours, pumpernickel or rye, something like that in your flour. And you can always add it into your recipe later, but it doesn't have to be in your initial starter. So, using King Arthur bread flour only will create a consistent ingredient, which can be easily manipulated for any sourdough recipe. And I say we're not going to start our starter with 113 grams of flour, which is about a cup. We're going to start with only 5 grams of flour. So how does my process work? Here you go. Day 1. Pretty simple. You're just going to take 5 grams of water, mix it with 5 grams of bread flour, and let it sit overnight. Day 2, don't add anything but some fresh air. Cover it and let it sit for another 24 hours. Day 3, mix in 5 grams of water, 5 more grams of bread flour, and let it sit for another 24 hours. On day 4, you're going to repeat day 3, and you're going to have a total right now of about 1 ounce of this mix. On day 5, you up the ante and add 10 grams of water and 10 grams of bread flour. Day 6, repeat day 5, and is this amazing? We are on day 6 and have not discarded anything. Day 7, repeat day 6, and put a rubber band around the container so you can see the level if it rises overnight. I'm using a 2-cup Anchor Hocking glass bowl. When I feed the starter on day 8, I move into a 5-cup Anchor Hocking glass bowl. Day 9, I move into a 7-cup glass bowl, which, yes, you could have done every day so far just in this bowl and not had to transfer. I remove 90 grams of starter that can be refrigerated for 2 to 3 weeks or used immediately for other bread. The remaining 450 grams that I have is going to be used for making bread. Check back for the recipe for these 2 loaves of bread using the remaining 450 grams of starter. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. And I hope you agreed with me. And if you do, I hope that you repost this so we can get this recall notice out there. We do need to stop wasting food. And sourdough is not a hard thing to make at all. It's an enjoyable experience, and it should be. So I think this will help people. And if you're going to tell people to make bread, you always have to tell them to make 2 loaves. 1 to share. Enjoy. All right. Pardon me. Okay. I'm done. I am done for today. I've had enough, and I'm glad that I at least got through that part to show you the video, and we can talk about it tomorrow. I did have a snack. I had all this sourdough talk. I had to have a piece of sourdough toast with some peanut butter and jelly. It was really good. And yeah, I guess I can't lie. I had 2. And they were great. So, all right, we'll finish this thing up hopefully tomorrow. Have a great night. Yeah, got up, had a little bit of a busy morning and have some things going on. I had some coffee and some oatmeal today. I had some oatmeal with just cinnamon and honey. Oh, I love it. So, what else did I do this morning? Oh, I thought about taking a walk, but I didn't take a walk yet. I'm going to take a walk. I try to walk a few miles a day, and I had to rig up some lights for something I'm shooting. Now, I guess what we should do is start dissecting this video, because my brain is fresh this morning, and but I wanted to show you something that I'm working on here real quick, and we are going to dissect this video, so don't go anywhere. Okay, these are from what I call a collard tree. I don't know what it is, but that's what I call it, a collard green tree. It's about 6 feet tall right now. And what I do is I take clippings and I'll put them in water. And I took some of those coffee grounds from my morning cup of coffee. I put coffee grounds in here because the coffee grounds, I don't know, I made a test on it a while ago when I was propagating some of these, and they seem to root really well. And I planted them, and they're working. But I leave them in the window, so that's why that water looks all funky. It's because there's the coffee grounds in there. But it'll take a couple weeks, and then you'll see all these sprouts come, all the roots coming, and then I let them get a bunch of roots on it. And then I plant it. Seems like that's the best way for me to do it. See? I'm just putting about that much. And last time I did it, I only made the clippings about this tall here. And when I did that, what happened was, you're planting them so low to the ground. I don't want them low to the ground like that. So I even made some big clippings off the top of it. I took all the leaves off this and had cooked them and just left a couple tiny leaves on the top. And I'm hoping this roots. That way I'll have these at different levels. I'll have in the same pot. I'll have some 5-foot ones. Then I'll have the other ones that I planted. I'll have these small ones, and then I'll have some big ones too. And I think, I don't know, but I hope with the stem being thicker that maybe the plant will even do better. And this is, what is this? Red leaf lettuce that I had bought at the store, and I just see one little root. Can you see that? One little root coming off there. This has been in there for over a week, and I did this not too long ago, and I got a bunch of lettuce off of it. It didn't come out like a perfect head, but I got enough for a couple salads. I really hope that video, I mean, if you got that video and you understand what I'm doing, that's awesome. That's really cool. But like I said, there are some things that people had questions about, and things that I learned since that video that maybe I should have posted, and that's what I'm going to share with you, and that's why we're going to dissect it. So, with that being said, let's just go to the first section. We'll go section by section, and I'll tell you why I said what I said, and some of the reasoning behind it, and answer the questions. All right, let's get kicking. This message is for King Arthur Baking Company, Food Network, and every sourdough bread baker in the world. I'd love your thoughts on joining me on posting a recall notice. It's for the word discard. I think it should be removed from every sourdough recipe. Okay, this first section, what? I mean, is this crazy? I mean, I'm calling out King Arthur Baking Company and Food Network. What? I mean, and the shock that you want the word discard. Did you read this urgent recall notice? I'm going to read it to you. This is an urgent recall notice. It said to remove the word discard from all sourdough starter recipes. All sourdough, what? That's wait, you know, but you know what? It's true. Now, it says, stop. Don't throw your sourdough starter away ever again. Watch this video for instructions. Thank you for your participation in placing this recall notice into action immediately so we can stop wasting good food. Thank you. And that's what the recall notice says. People, I wanted them to think, what's the matter with this? Why is he calling out King Arthur Baking Company and Food Network? Well, this is why. Because I've got an incredible amount of respect for these two companies, an incredible amount. They are the authorities. And King Arthur Baking, they have to be the authority in sourdough. I mean, they've got great products. They've been around forever. Their products are consistent. And, you know, so I'm thinking, okay, they have to be the authority. Then Food Network, of course, how can you not call Food Network out when it's something to do with food? It's Food Network, right? Okay, you got to get Food Network on board. And then every single sourdough baker ever. We're going to have a recall notice for everyone because I want everyone's buy-in on this. This is crazy. But you know what? This is what I wanted to do. I thought, well, maybe they'll change it, is what I'm thinking. Maybe they'll change it. And I said to stop wasting good food because this is what happens. Now, I was trying to figure out, there's maybe 300, I'm going to just round numbers out. There's 300 million people just in the United States, okay? So just in the United States, there's 300 million people. And I thought, what if 1 in every 5,000 people decides to try and make sourdough bread? And they're going to follow these recipes that people have been using for generations, where they're mixing things together and discarding, okay? So that's 60,000 people a year that are going to try to make sourdough starter, okay? And let's say that they're going to feed their sourdough starter. They're going to feed it a lot more than this. But let's just say that to get this thing going, they're going to do it for 5 days. And they're going to discard the 113 grams or the 4 ounces of starter every day, which is half water. So 2 ounces of flour a day. Okay? So that's 600,000 total ounces, which is 37,500 pounds per year. Now I said, okay, over 10 years, that's 375,000 pounds. Now, from wheatworld.org, that website, it says 1 bushel of wheat yields approximately 42 pounds of white flour. Okay, well, that means that's almost 9,000 bushels of flour that's getting discarded or having a headache of having to figure out what to do with it because day 1 of discard and day 3 and day 5 and day 6, they're all different products. So how do you come up with a recipe for discard when it's not the same product every time? You're not going to have consistency. Okay, now I was figuring out on their website that it says in the United States, 1 acre of wheat yields an average of around 40 bushels of wheat. Okay, so 1 acre of wheat yields an average around 40 bushels of wheat. Okay, that's 223 acres of land, of wheat, discarded over 10 years. 223 acres. I mean, really, with this recall notice, I want their buy-in. I want their buy-in, and I want to get it changed. And I want to get it changed for good reasons. I don't think that anyone in their right mind would say, hey, let's write a recipe where you throw some of it away every day, or you have to have a headache to do something with it every single day while you're making it just to keep people busy. No, that does not happen. Or so we can sell more flour. No. King Arthur, don't even think I'm going there because I don't think that's it at all. Let's move on to the next section. Every time I talk to someone new about sourdough bread and they love it as much as I do, we talk about the crust and the smell and the flavor. Oh, it's amazing. But then I ask them, hey, have you ever made it? Well, they say, it's just too hard because you have to feed it every day and then you have to throw some of it out every day. And what a waste. This is not true. And think about this, Food Network. Think about this, King Arthur Baking Company. I mean, you have all those people that follow you on your websites and on your social media, and they're posting pieces of art. Are these these people are incredible what they can do with breads and things like that. It's amazing. And there's some great recipes out there for pancakes and sourdough biscuits and sourdough cinnamon rolls, all those different things, and people want to have them. And they want to do the fun things, and they want to take a bread lamb, and they want to make the designs in the bread, and that's great. But you have to have this ingredient. If we could get this straightened out, King Arthur, I think you would sell a ton more flour, because I think people would be making this all the time. Okay, now, I've got to eat, because I've been going all day, and I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner, but I'm going to go find something for dinner, and I don't know, maybe I'm going to try and work on this again. You know, earlier today, just when everything was going, I thought, I got computer issues. I guess it's just part of it, you know. My the computer was running really slow, and but just in that program, and I hardly ever have a problem with this ever, but I think it's just because I needed to update it. So that's what I'm doing. I got them fixed, and I'm on the go. All right, let's move on. So we need to talk about sourdough management, because sourdough starter is as easy as 2 ingredients, flour and water. And sourdough bread is as easy as 4, flour, water, salt, and starter. And I say starter because everyone makes their starter different. Here's my simplified method for managing sourdough. It can be multiplied or divided to meet any need. Some people use 2 or 3 flours in their starter. I say choose one. You can choose whatever one you want. I choose King Arthur bread flour. Why? Because when you start to utilize your starter, you may not want whole wheat flour flavor or some strong flours, pumpernickel or rye, something like that in your flour. And you can always add it into your recipe later, but it doesn't have to be in your initial starter. So, using King Arthur bread flour only will create a consistent ingredient, which can be easily manipulated for any sourdough recipe. All right, everybody's got their specialty. I know that. And I'm not a food scientist. I'm not. I am a chef, and I am a food stylist. That's what I do. And I mean, I think about food all the time. I'm not a master with sourdough, although, I mean, I've been working with it since 2010, and I work with it regularly, and I feel like I have mastered the process of making this sourdough starter without discard, but I also have a process for managing my sourdough starter, so I never have discard ever. In years, I've had no discard, and it works great, and the products are consistent. But there are things that I'm not a professional at, 100%. I'm not a master at. I don't understand every single detail about this sourdough starter. And, you know, I know that King Arthur, they're starting their sourdough starter with pumpernickel, and then they feed it with all-purpose flour every day. And I know that people have been making sourdough starter for generations. What I would like to do is team up with King Arthur and Food Network. How cool would it be to come up with a new process and a new recipe, if needed, and let's take this knowledge and take it to Food Network and tell the world? I think people will be making this all the time. This is what I'd like to know and work on with King Arthur. Why do we have to start with certain flours? And can we change those flours? And can we discuss that? So when people are going to... Did you hear that? That was crazy. I don't know what that sound was. But because sometimes, like, I'll make something out of... well, I have my bread flour that I'm using for the sourdough starter, but then I want to make something delicate, pancakes or cinnamon rolls, and they're just a little bit tougher than normal. And I know that King Arthur is using all-purpose flour from the second feeding on, I think is what it was. And maybe that would help. But if you can use all-purpose flour, why can't you use cake flour? Because cake flour may be great if you could make the sourdough starter with cake flour. And then, man, can you imagine how delicate your pancakes could be then and what you could do with it? It takes the whole team. I mean, I do have the process. King Arthur's got, I'm sure they probably have food scientists. They've got people with the most incredible knowledge about flour. And Food Network reaches everyone. They're reaching everyone around the world. Man, let's go on there and let's spread the word. All right, so anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. And is this a really cool place or what? I came out here after I ate dinner, because I ate a huge dinner, and I thought I was going to walk, but I haven't walked much. And I had some vegetable biryani and aloo vindaloo and garlic naan, and I ate almost the whole thing. But anyway, that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm at with this segment. Let's move on to the next segment. All right. And I say we're not going to start our starter with 113 grams of flour, which is about a cup. We're going to start with only 5 grams of flour. It's 2024. I know we use pounds, we use ounces, we use tablespoons and cups, and what's 5 grams? I know. And if you look back the generation before, they didn't even have a scale problem. Oh, we use a handful, you know, but they're doing it every day. They know exactly how much is in that handful. They could probably measure to the gram in that handful. But with grams, you know, a lot of people ask me, hey, how do you measure this with grams? Well, you go get one of these handy dandy scales they make today and probably sell anywhere. I'm sure Food Network sells them. King Arthur, I'm sure you sell them. I sell them in my Amazon store. They're great. They're not expensive. They all have different features on them. So check out all the different features. This one, I can wash it. There is a unit button on there. And the unit, when you turn the scale on, it goes to 0. And then after it goes to 0, you hit the unit. And it'll say pounds and ounces, milliliters, what grams. So you pick grams. And then what you do is you take your bowl and you put your bowl on there. Then you hit the tare button. That takes everything back to 0. Then you take your flour and start putting it in the bowl until you get to 5 grams. When you get to 5 grams, that's it. There's your 5 grams. Now, I know some people say, well, my scale doesn't register until after 5 grams. So how do you do 5 grams? Which I know that happens because it happened to me one time and I called the manufacturer. I thought there was a problem and they told me that their scale doesn't register until it hits 5 grams. So what you do with the scale like that is you put the bowl on here, you turn on the thing, you hit the unit of grams. Okay, don't hit the tare button and 0 it. Just start putting flour in there. You put 5 grams of flour in there. So that's how you do it. I hope that helped. Let's keep moving. Before I talk about this other segment, I just thought you might want to know what I'm having for lunch today. This is wonderful. The smell is spot on. I'm sure the flavor is. This is what my grandparents, they were Italian, this is what they called eggs in purgatory. It's wonderful. I just took some olive oil and some garlic and browned it a little bit. I put some tomato puree in there, and then I just seasoned it with a little bit of dried basil and dried oregano and a little bit of smoked paprika. What else did I put in there? A little bit of salt. Oh yeah. And now I'm gonna top it with just a little bit of cheese and a little bit of black pepper. Oh boy. And you know what else? I went outside and I picked some fresh basil. Now I put dried basil in here, and dried basil is really good, but fresh basil, sometimes you just get a different flavor. And you know, I put a lot of oil in there. I don't know if you saw that, but since these are my last 2 pieces of bread, I'm going to use them for scarpetta. And scarpetta, that's an Italian term for the shoemaker. It's like in the way of the shoemaker, from what I understand. My grandfather was a shoemaker, and he fixed shoes. He had a shoe repair shop. He made them in Italy. But they didn't have much money, a shoemaker. So they used to take the bread and wipe up the plate when they're done, and that's called scarpetta. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of truffle oil, just a little bit on these. Oh my gosh, I love truffle. I love truffles. I love them all different ways. We were in Italy, we went truffle hunting. We were in Siena during the Palio. We came all the way from America, couldn't wait for years, and finally cheered for the winning team. Incredible food, incredible time. We had a ball. So I'm going to enjoy this, and then we'll talk about that segment. How about that? And now, a quick thanks to God for blessing me with what I have and what we have that we don't have to pinch every penny, but I know there are a lot of people in the world that do. And to honor my grandpa, and because he came here, he didn't have much money. He didn't have any money in Italy. And all the people in the world who are having a rough time, I wish you prosperity, and to honor you, I will do scarpetta. So how does my process work? Here you go. Day one. Pretty simple. No, don't worry. I'm not going to have you watch that whole thing again. You can back it up if you want, but I want to talk to you about a couple things, and I am going to stop it before we get to segment 9, because segment 9, people had a lot of questions. And I want to talk to you about the water, because there were a lot of questions. Some people had problems with their starter because it wasn't working, and they wanted to know why it wasn't working. And we figured what happened was they were using reverse osmosis or distilled water, and just use spring water or tap water. That's it. Okay, let's go to day 9. Day 9. Let's go there and look at it. Day 9, I move into a 7-cup glass bowl, which, yes, you could have done every day so far just in this bowl and not had to transfer. I remove 90 grams of starter that can be refrigerated for 2 to 3 weeks or used immediately for other bread. The remaining 450 grams that I have is going to be used for making bread. Check back for the recipe for these 2 loaves of bread using the remaining 450 grams of starter. I think what happened on day 9 was I had to dive into meetings, and as soon as I find out a project I'm working on, that's it. My mind is on that project and I'm full bore, but at the same time I had to finish this. So potentially that's what happened. I thought I explained it right, but apparently I didn't. And maybe I could have done it different because I wouldn't have had so many questions about day 9. So I am going to explain day 9 a little bit to you of what the issue was. Okay, you ready for this? Okay, day 9 in that video was bad. I should have never cut it like that. I should have explained it a little bit different. I made a mistake. This is what is supposed to happen on day 9, just so you know. On day 8, you have 270 grams that you're letting set overnight of starter. On the morning of the 9th day, you're going to add 135 grams of flour and 135 grams of water to your starter. You're going to have a total of 540 grams. Now think about this. Take out 90 grams and just put it here for right now. It's just sitting there, 90 grams. This 450 grams is ready to use for bread, okay? So part 2 video that I posted shows people how to take this 450 grams and make 2 loaves of bread out of it. Okay, that's gone. Normally what would happen is this 90 grams, you could put it in the refrigerator and it could sit in there for 2 or 3 weeks. When you're ready to make bread again, you pull it out, let it sit overnight, come to room temperature or whatever it's going to. After it sits overnight, it's going to probably, go up and down, and then you start feeding it again. But what I did was I showed 2 bowls, and one was on top of the other. The smaller bowl was on top of the bigger bowl, and they had both risen. I don't remember what happened. I don't know why I let this go and why I let it rise. Why didn't I just put it in the refrigerator? And maybe I was going to make something else with it, but I can't remember because I think I had to go to work. Maybe it was just a mistake, and then I shot that like that. It was bad. But that's the explanation, and that probably answers everybody's question about day 9. So there you go. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. And I hope you agreed with me. And if you do, I hope that you repost this so we can get this recall notice out there. We do need to stop wasting food. And sourdough is not a hard thing to make at all. It's an enjoyable experience, and it should be. So I think this will help people. And I want to talk to you about something else. If you made it this far with me, I know you have a choice of who you watch and who you're letting into your house. So do I when I'm watching YouTube, because I go through YouTube at night. I'm watching all different things. I'm watching a guy build a cabin. I'm on like episode 5 of his thing. I'm watching this guy. I love it. But thank you for watching. I would much appreciate if you would like this video, if you would share it and subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to make more videos like this and help educate people in cooking and making their life easy and fun. But you know what I really like? I don't know if you're willing to do it, but if you made it this far, if you make it to the end and you're like, oh, this guy, if you're at this point right now and you haven't thought, okay, this guy needs admitted because he's lost his mind, and you're on board with me, would you be willing to send the link from this YouTube video to who? Yes, King Arthur and Food Network. That's what I'd love. Okay, and I asked you, and if you're willing to, I'd appreciate it. If not, I understand. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to keep going here. I know you want to know what I'm having for dinner. Well, I was getting ready to run to the store, but I don't have time to run to the store. I've been doing stuff, so I thought I'd just wing something real quick. I'm going to make some Vietnamese spring rolls. I have rice paper, and I've got some noodles. I've got some rice noodles, but they're not the right ones. These are a little bit wide. I like the thinner ones in my spring roll, and I don't have all the vegetables that I want either. I love Vietnamese food, and Mitzi and I were in Vietnam, and we were eating all over the place, and I ate stuff. I didn't even know these foods existed, and I learned so much about it. That's a cobra snake.
Cobra snake.
And what's
rice wine?
Rice wine, yeah. And cobra snake.
Scorpion, ginseng.
So tonight I'm going to throw together some spring rolls. I might go outside and get some kale and use some peppers and leeks and some carrots and celery that I have here, and I'm going to make up a spicy peanut sauce with some grated ginger and lime juice, a little soy sauce, maybe a little sriracha in there to spice it up. I'm thinking, I don't know if I have any toasted sesame oil. If I do, I might put a few drops of that in there, and that's what I'm having for dinner. Okay, back to the video. And if you're gonna tell people to make bread, you always have to tell them to make 2 loaves, 1 to share. Enjoy. Now you know how to make an ingredient. You know, when I made that original sourdough recipe, I didn't make it in optimum conditions. I made it in a cold house. It wasn't humid. I didn't always measure the temperature of the water. I didn't feed it on the second day. I was just trying to see, will this work? Will this scenario that I had in my mind, will it work for this? And it works over that much time. There's sometimes when you make it, I've made it in Florida, 2 or 3 days, it's up. And it's amazing because the humidity, the warmth, and you know, if the camera's shaking, sorry, it's a little windy out here, but you can do it. You can do it. Just take your time, love it, and just know you can, like Uncle Ronnie'd say, don't worry about the mule, just load the wagon. Well, we made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. I know you might have had some thoughts, you know, oh, hey, did you see his hair that day? Or, hey, did you see how wrinkled and how his shirt fit? Do you think he knows? Yes, I know. Or what about the camera bouncing when he was editing out there with the deer the other day? Yes, there's no production team. There's no hair and makeup. There's no wardrobe. It's just me. That's it. It's just me. So if you're gonna follow me, you're gonna get what you get. So don't throw a fit. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, you know, seriously, it was a pleasure, and thank you so much for watching, and I do appreciate it. Have a great week.